Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining for today's webinar Commerce Cloud Introduction and Onboarding. My name is Asaf Ahmed. I'm a passionate business development executive at Cloudlogy. Before we start with this amazing webinar, it would be an honor for me to introduce Cloudlogy before you. Cloudlogy is a leading Salesforce development and consulting company that offers CRM-powered solution and capabilities including but not limited to Salesforce customization, integration, and data migration services. Let me now take the pleasure of introducing today's speaker, Suraj Tripathi. Suraj is a 7x Salesforce certified platform application developer at Cloudlogy. Today, he will be sharing his expertise with you on how to access scalable value for your success-driven business through Salesforce Commerce Cloud. Guys, we have a wonderful surprise for you at the end of this webinar, so please stay tuned. Now, without further ado, let me now hand over the session to Suraj.
Thanks for the introduction, Asaf. And I welcome you all in this wonderful webinar. But before we get started, I would like you to inform about certain aspects of this webinar. We have 2 QA rounds in this webinar. So if you have questions for me, I request you to please let me know in the QA rounds only. Please stay silent in the webinar and post your questions in the chat box that we would discuss later during the QA sessions. Now hold tight, let's get started with our webinar. So as Asaf already told you about myself, so I'm not going to take the time to introduce myself. So let's get the webinar started. So we are going to do the webinar on Salesforce Commerce Cloud onboarding and introduction. So let me just quickly tell you something about Salesforce Commerce Cloud. So in the past, Commerce Cloud was introduced as a demandware, but Salesforce had purchased that, and now it is known as Salesforce B2C Commerce Cloud. Now let's the webinar get started. So here are the agendas of today's webinar. First, I am going to tell you how to install and configure a site genesis or storefront reference architecture site in Commerce Cloud. The next point is going to be create a new site and make them work with full functionalities. The next point is going to be how to make an order, and then configure cache and logs, then system and custom objects with attributes. And at the last, I am going to tell you short. I will be showing you a short demo of how to write a controller and XML template and make them work in the storefront architecture. So let's get journey started. Now, to install and configure a site genesis or a storefront reference architecture SFRS site, we have to install a site. We can perform any of the 2 options for that. So first action is going to be install the site from Site Import and Export from the Administrator tab and click on the site we need to import. There will be 3 options there. First one is using Upload Archive. So if you have a backup of your already existing site from another instance, so what you can do is you can just upload the archive to in this area, and the site will run just like your old instance. The next is Site Genesis demo site, which is this was the architecture used by Commerce Cloud from the last decade, and it's now older and has less customizations allowed in this one. The last point is storefront reference architecture demo site. This is the architecture which is Salesforce is pushing their clients to use, and this is the future of Commerce Cloud right now. So from here we can select our architecture we want to use and just click on the import. After that, this will start the import, and you can see the progress at the bottom of the page under status section. The above export will download and import a lot of things which we will be needing in future to show products, manage campaigns, etc. Here are some of the things it will export: sites, catalogs, products, price books, inventory lists, customers, and some more things. So this is one this is a screenshot of the 3 points which I just shared. So you can just import any of these, and it will import all these things which you can see in the red box. Now, the second option is to create your own version of the site and import all the configuration from the standard ones to the new one. For this, we will visit the administration tab. Then under sites, we will visit manage sites. Thereafter, we need to click on the new button under the storefront site section, fill in the details and save it. So I'm going to show you the screenshot of that. So here you can click on the new button. Now we will download the code from SFRA to make our site work. However, we can create our site from the scratch and push the code using Eclipse or VS Code and configure it to work for Demandware. Once we have the code, we can push the code in the latest code version and inject the custom cartridges that we need or we created under the selected site by adding the cartridges name separated using the following method. Now, we will click on the storefront tab to get redirected to the demo site. There is absolutely no need to worry if it doesn't appear like a traditional site. This is simply because it is yet to be configured properly or some updates are yet to be made. Now, uh, to, to make the configurations, make it and make your custom site work as the standard one, you'll have to download the data from RefArch standard site. To do this, we need to select Site Import and Export from Administration tab. Under the Export section, we need to now select the folders that are required to export like catalogs, price books, inventory, sites, etc. Once this has been done, we need to enter the name of the archive name, just like this one. You can see in the example, I have selected some of the things from RefArch site, like I have selected sites, then I have selected libraries, library static resources. Similarly, we need to select catalogs and price books and catalog static resources, things like those. But for the site, we need that data only, not for all the sites. We need to update the site.xml. So in the zip file which you download, you will see a site.xml file there that needs to be updated with your name, with your site name, so that this uh, this zip can work for your site import. Now, to make an order, we'll have to create our user on site. That can be is now once your site is up and running, you can start you can start making order or whatever you need. In order to make an order, we'll have to create our user on site. That can be easily created by just visiting the site and create the user for ourselves under the login section. So this is just one example which I have shown you. Now, after creating the user, we can perform a guest checkout. We can even add certain objects in the cart and try to make a purchase. We can now move ahead with creating the order. The status may be changed to shipping, method paid or unpaid, all the things under business manager. So from business manager, you can change the status of the order. And you can see all the details of the customer who has purchased the order as well. Now, we are open for questions for next 5 minutes. Please ask your questions if you have any. So we have one question. Yeah. So Bhanu, yes, we can. We can definitely get we can definitely integrate third parties using Salesforce Commerce Cloud.
Hey, hi. Uh, can we have any inbuilt functionalities of like shipping apps?
Uh, like just like shipping methods. Are you talking about
Yeah,
shipping methods?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Okay.
Sales-
Is there any
Salesforce
inbuilt shipping apps are there in Commerce Cloud?
Yes, they don't have apps. They have simple configurations where you can configure shipping methods. It's that
Okay,
simple.
okay. Okay, thank you. And may I know about of cartridges? Can you explain more about that?
I will be talking about cartridges a little bit later.
Okay, okay. Okay, thank you.
So guys, if anyone have any further questions, can ask Suraj. We are holding up for more 10 seconds.
Hello, Suraj. My name is Prithvi.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, Suraj. I just couldn't join on time. Could you please explain me some 10 seconds about the Commerce Cloud? Just an introduction.
Uh, what do you know about Commerce Cloud is a e-commerce customization website tool which Salesforce has purchased recently. Uh, Previously, it was called Demandware. Okay, so that is why when you open up a sandbox or production, you will see that it is written Demandware in the URL. But they are going to change it soon. Salesforce is going to change it soon. So that's what it is.
So it basically used to like selling the products, right? Like,
Uh, it depends, like how you want to change your e-commerce website. Yeah, it is simple e-commerce. It is for creating simple e-commerce websites. So you can add
okay.
product, things like that.
Yeah.
Whatever you
Thank you,
want to
sir.
say. So uh, we are continuing our uh, webinar for now, and we are stopping the QA section. Okay. So now I'm going to tell you about how to configure cache and logs. So to configure cache, it is pretty simple. You'll have to just go to manage sites under administration, select the site we just created, and disable the cache or enable the cache, whatever you want to do. So in the time to live, which is TTL, under the red box, you will see that you can add the time that for this much time you want to store the cache. It's pretty simple. And to enable page caching, just click on the enable page caching. It will cache your pages. Now I'm going to show you how uh, this slide is for uh, setting up the logs. So you obviously, like every other development tool or whatever development language, we have logs in Salesforce Commerce Cloud as well. So in the custom log settings, you can set your logs, like which you want to see in your website. Now I'm going to tell you about something about cartridges and controllers. So how they work. So cartridges are in Commerce Cloud. We call our folders. If you know about like Angular or latest Angular or React, you know how the folder structure works, right? So similarly, in Salesforce Commerce Cloud, we have a folder structure. We call it as cartridges. So when you download your code from SFRA, you will see that they have some cartridges pre-built, which you can see in the screenshot here. So app underscore storefront underscore base is the standard cartridge, and under that, this is how you are going to build. So this app underscore storefront underscore base is going to be your name of the cartridge, and then the cartridge folder will come up. Then everything else. like controllers, forms, models, scripts, statics, templates, etc., etc. Whatever you want to do. So I'm going to just tell you about something about controllers, not all of the things. Okay. So this is how we write a controller in Commerce Cloud. So in this, what I have done is use strict is their Commerce Cloud standard functionality. We'll have to use that. Server is for getting server class uh, in your in your controller, so that you can do further steps like exporting the function or things like those. Now, what I did was I created a method in this class named test method. Okay. So what it does is it is just it is just uh, rendering this. This is the test ISML template with one parameter named this is the parameter. So I'm going to do a demo of this as well at the end. So you can sit back and relax if you have any doubts. Now to create the ISML templates, we can just use Salesforce documentation or simple HTML tags. Also, below is the folder structure. We can just create the ISML template in template default folder. So this is not negotiable. Salesforce has made it that way that if you want to call a template, it should be under default. Then you can create folders under default folder. So that is not going to be the problem, but that's how it is. Now, this is the XML template code look like. So is decorate is a tag to get your CSS and header, those kind of stuffs. And like if you have a decorating template already created, like headers or footers, and you don't want to write same code in different XML templates, you can just create that template and uh, make it make it visible for all the templates, and you can use the is decorate tag to call that template so that it can be visible in your latest XML template. And is include template is used to call different call other templates. So now I'm going to show you the a quick demo for this. So just right. So as you know that Sandbox is pretty expensive for Salesforce. So what I have is I have a video created, which I created like some time ago, and that video is going. I'm going to show that video because I can't share you the details from my customer sandbox. Okay, this is how it is going to look like. So here you can see that I have called all my cartridges, and similarly, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a jhelloworld.js named a controller. So for this, I'll just go to Eclipse, and under my training cartridge, I'm going to create the controller. I will just write the name of the controller here, and I'm going to click on the finish button. So this is how when you create a new controller, the new controller will look like. and we don't need all the code which is written here. So we are going to just delete that, and we are going to copy the code from this PDF. And if you want, I can share this document with you guys for a practice if you have a sandbox, or just if you want to read it away. So I'm going to uh, I'm going to require these files under use strict. If you are from development background, you will understand that why we are doing this. So we have a class called guard, and we are just calling it to use its functions in our new controller. And the ISML tag is for calling the ISML class from it is from Salesforce Commerce Cloud itself. It comes from server. We don't have we don't have it in our local storage, so that we don't change anything in the. Uh, and you can see the document. You can always see the documentation which is provided by Salesforce. It is free. That what classes we have and what other things we can use uh, in Salesforce Commerce Cloud development. So this is how the ISML class look like, where we can just call it and we can render whatever template we want. So I'm going to copy this start function under the require, so that I can call this method using my site. So what it is doing right now is function start, as you can see, is totally empty. So and the exports.start is making it visible for our site to be for the guard.start calling is making it available for getting called from a site. As uh, we have different functions for uh, making a function visible for different scenarios. I'm going to show you the module class, where you can see what we can do with the module. So now, now what start does is, uh, as you can see that the function name starts with small s, but I am calling export.start with a capital S. So in order to call it from the website, but I shouldn't use the smallest start. I should be using the capital start. So this is the best practice. You can always use the same function for calling it under the site. So in this XML template, what I am doing is I'm just rendering the hello world XML template and one parameter. So as you can see that hello world.xml, and this is an older version, so you don't need to write hello world.xml right now. You can just write hello world itself. The name of the XML template is enough to render a template. As you can see that in the documentation, we have only two functions for class XML, which is a render template. One is having the template string, and the other parameter it takes as the object. This is what we are sending via parameter. Now I'm going to create a hello world.xml template, which is getting called from the controller. And in that, I'm just going to use the parameter which I have used in the controller, so that you all can see that how we use the parameter in templates. As I said earlier, that the template needs to be under default folder. So what we are going to do is we are going to create this under the default folder under templates. So our XML template is created, and now we are going to use our parameter to show the parameter in the site. What we are going to do is we are just going to save it with my parameter on XML with the same parameter which we have created. So predict is the standard function to call a parameter from controller in the XML template. So this is how we call our parameter in XML template. And now to execute that controller, we are going to use a slash at the end of the URL, whatever we have, we are going to replace everything with default /j hello world minus start. So what it is doing is j hello world was my class name, and start was my exported function, which I was telling you about. So in order to call any method from the controller, you will have to write the name of the class minus the method name which is exported. Now, as you can see that this is my site, and what I'm going to do is I'm just appending the URL with my method and default. And now when I run it, it will show me the parameter value whatever I had in the controller. Yes, it's that simple. So this is how we can use the controllers and XML templates to show everything in Commerce Cloud. So if you guys have any questions, you can ask directly to me. We are open for questions now. So we have some questions from Prachi, like I just started learning Salesforce admin part. I'm waiting Salesforce certification. So for certification, I will revert back to you later, Prachi. And Pesha is saying, whoever is recording this session, please email to all participants. Yeah, what we are going to do is we are going to send every participant who has joined with the webinar recording and with some more links so that you can learn more about Commerce Cloud. Any more questions? If you have, you can ask.
Suraj, Prithvi here.
Yeah, please.
I just wanted to know, like, this building the sites in Commerce Cloud is totally different from what we do in Sales or Service Cloud, right?
Correct, correct. This is totally different.
Yeah, we use like Apex and controllers.
Yeah, yeah. But in this we only use JavaScript. So most of the things are
Okay,
in JavaScript, and for using the HTML template, like for HTML we use XML template instead of using Visual Force pages.
yeah. Thank you, sir.
Guys, any more questions?
Hi, this is Pradeep.
Hi,
How to
Pradeep.
configure the products and the catalogs? How to configure these of things?
So for these, you'll have to wait for my next webinar, uh,
Okay.
which is going to be pretty soon open now. Like
Okay.
not right now, but later on. We will send the emails to everyone.
Okay. Thank you.
So, and actually, yes, we are going to send the doc. I will be sending you the doc.
Thank you, Suraj. I really appreciate you coming over and sharing some wonderful insights about Salesforce Commerce Cloud. It will surely help each of us in our journey to transform in our organization. So, before we say goodbye, it's time for some surprises. So, the webinar session is recorded and you would receive a copy of it. You may use it for your personal purpose or share it with others. So, we have an upcoming webinar on Conga Composer integration with Salesforce development by Dipali, a certified Salesforce advanced administrator and Salesforce developer and CSPO certified at Cloudlogy. The webinar by Dipali will help you learn, generate your document, report, and presentation using Salesforce data, customize your document as per the business need, help your business to automate and transform complex routine into single button clicks, easily generate thousands of documents per day without increasing staff resources, get powerful add-ons for running solutions in batches, scheduling the creations and delivery of files, or triggering a merging with Salesforce workflow. So thank you again for joining this webinar. We hope you see you next time. Thank you. Have a great time. Bye.